Today I'm going to be giving my persuasion speech on why I feel General Motors Corporation is better than any other automaker industry out there. And what that, I don't mean just what the automaker industry or what GM has done in 2017. I'm talking about what it is that GM has done in history since the beginning. It may seem like I pick on Ford a little bit, but I am going to refer to Ford a lot because Ford obviously is the main contender, the main competition against General Motors or Chevrolet, if you will. And if you look at Ford Henry really made the first automobile in 1896, and General Motors wasn't even founded until 1908. And with that, Henry Ford had a lot of time to sit here and get his business up and running and start bringing vehicles out in mass production. Unlike Chevrolet, obviously started out later, and I think has actually been a really big benefit to them. And Ford is kind of on the losing end because of it. Henry Ford was really stuck on um, designs and color options and the different things he wanted to offer to the average consumer. He ultimately didn't care. He was really picky about what he wanted out of his vehicles, and it's what made him happy, not what made the consumer happy. And the unfortunate part is Ford to this day is still like that in some cases. Not every case, but a lot of cases, or in some cases they definitely are. Unlike GM, they're opposite. I think GM took what Ford lacked and they ran with it, and it's made them a very successful corporation today. If you look at it, one big fact that a lot of people don't know, Henry Ford, once again, like I said, 1896 is the first automobile he ever made. And from 1896 all the way until 1908, you think about the amount of vehicles he made, you can go online and you can look up the numbers, hundreds of thousands of vehicles. And if you look at how much money he made off of those vehicles compared to, or how much money he made in revenue, period, before Chevrolet was anything, then it must say something when Chevrolet was the first automaker in history to break $1 billion in sales. How do you explain that? How? How? Why is that? It's because GM has more to offer to the consumer and cares about what it is that we want. They don't care about what it is that they want. They care about what it is that we want as a consumer, whether it be luxury, whether it be heavy duty vehicles, whether it be performance, whatever the case may be. They always seem to be on the winning end, and it just shows. You look at SUVs, you look at these Chevy Tahoes, you look at these Chevy Suburbans, you look at their heavy duty series vehicles, whether it be a half ton or, well, I mean, heavy duty isn't really a half ton Silverado, it's more or less 3/4 ton, 1 ton. But even their half ton pickup trucks, you look at what they have to bring to the table, and there's a reason why they have more in sales, barely, but they do. And they're just a very reliable vehicle. The way that GM designs their engines, the way they design their transmissions, all of that is a big reason as to why people would rather own a GM over a Ford or over a Dodge or over any other manufacturer out there. In today's society, everything is about technology, advancing, improving. Well, if you look at, once again, GM, and you look at the way they design their engines, overhead valve, single cam, simple engineering, less moving components, easier to work on, efficient overall, less time to have to sit here and get an engine up and running, performance, great numbers, reliability, cheap components. You can't ask for more out of an industry than that. And GM has that to offer more than any other manufacturer. And when I sit here and I talk about when I talk about being efficient, I don't just refer to vehicles themselves. I refer to even the performance line of things. If you go on summitracing.com or if you go to jegs.com or any of these other manufacturers out there where they make these engines, there's a reason why there's more GM engines out there listed for sale that you can get a hold of or even buy brand new than any other manufacturer. And it all comes down to being efficient. It's what it's going to cost you to build something for a performance vehicle. And honestly, it doesn't have to be performance. It could be a luxury vehicle. You just want a standard little engine in, and it's not going to cost you much to get one of them up and running, and that's going to be a reliable running vehicle. If you look at Ford or if you look at Dodge, what it costs to assemble an engine, or what it costs to have to order a specific part, whether it be a crank or pistons or a cam or a block or valve train or whatever the case may be, it is way more expensive than GM. But yet you're not getting the reliability, you're not getting the efficiency of building an engine, of having to repair it if something is to go wrong. Uh, and that's huge. That's a big benefit that GM has. Um, Also, conversion options. If you sit here and you look at, once again, GM engines, crate engines that they have to offer, turnkey engines, um, they're plug and play. Never in history has a manufacturer, automobile manufacturer, ever had engines like GM has to offer today. And when I mean engines, I'm talking the size, the power, everything you get out of it, and the types of vehicles you could put them in. You could put them in any vehicle. You could buy a V8 Chevy engine putting out 600 plus horsepower, and you could stick in a Mazda Miata. You can't do that with the Ford. You can't do that with the Dodge. You can't do that with any other manufacturer out there. I mean, you can, but you're not talking V8. You're not talking, easy plug and play, slap together, turnkey, roll out like you can with GM. You can do it with them, but you're talking major modifications. You're talking big time work. And you're not always having to do that with GM. Yeah, you may have to make a slight little modification here or there, but if you outweigh the two, uh, you're going to get a lot more bang for your buck out of GM than any other manufacturer. That's why even Ford, you look at all these old Model A's, Model T's, whether it be a 30, 40, 50, even some of these newer Mustangs, there's a reason they put a Chevy engine underneath that hood. Why would you buy a Ford, or why would you buy even a Dodge? There's even Dodges out there, and people turn right around and they put Chevy engines in them. Why is that? That says something. So these are just a few reasons as to why I feel that GM is better than any other automaker industry out there, and I hope I've changed your mind.